Welcome to another edition of What the Fuck Happenings here in Mendham. Sorry, I have to apologize, frankly. Okay, I didn't get the videos done during the week, so I have just the one part 3 of reaction video to a conversation between, I'd say, okay, the two characters in the conversation are distinctly different. One of them is concerned, empathetic, does care that a bunch of harm is being wasted here on Earth, and the other is completely glib and couldn't care less, and thinks it's all worth it because we're gloriously fighting a wonderful war against the evil boogeyman called entropy, and we're demonstrating that life is sacred by torturing living things. So you demonstrate you love life and you appreciate it and respect it by torturing it. That's how you prove how much you love it, is that you kill as many soldiers as possible. Frankly, that's all for the glory of the sacred totem pole thing. Yeah, the notion in the head. Anyway. So, yes, these are the kind of, so I just make these kind of arguments over and over again about just how silly, okay, the respondent is in this interview thing. All right. But I'll say that I think the other guy is also tainted with a liability of human-centric focus, and pretending that if we solve the human problem that we've solved the natural problem, and that clearly doesn't work. So sentencing animals to perpetual torture doesn't make any sense. So he's overtly said he doesn't have values consistent with mine, but so what else can you say? That okay, mine say animals are just as important as people, and if you're not rescuing them, you're not rescuing the majority of people on the lifeboat. You're killing all the, whatever you want to call them, the undesirables. Anyway, alright, so we'll do the usual routine. We'll just go through some of the arguments made and some of my counterpoints and blah, 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 blah. I think that's what we're going to do. I better check volumes here. Yeah, that seems about right. So we'll see how it goes. All of the, it's probably a little too loud, so we'll go a little softer. Just so I don't have to compete with myself. The fact that people talk about how, well, liars suck, but they really do love lying. Yeah, it just really makes no sense. They want an accountability system, except they don't want to be accountable. They want everybody else to be accountable. I want everybody else tattooed. I just don't want a tattoo, I don't want to be... I don't want a reliable Social Security number so you can track all my cheating and thieving. But I want everybody else, tracked and monitored. It's just silly. All right, jump ahead. I don't know exactly how that was related to the subject, but whatever. Because it's just talking about the efficiency of systems, and clearly none of the systems we have designed are at all efficient, and clearly the waste is obscene. You usually have to be really thirsty or really hungry to enjoy the... Okay, so this whole idea that we're all fighting for this great sacred thing called happiness, fun. We're all fighting in the war to save fun. Okay, because we can't have a non-fun happening in the universe. If fun isn't happening in the universe, we must rescue the universe from not having fun. And obviously the point I'm making is the fun is trivial, frankly. It's always ridiculous. I mean, anything somebody's jerking off to is not going to be all that, okay? It's going to sometimes look like, what the fuck? How did he have fun doing that? And so, I can use amusement parks, I can use Yankee Stadium, I can use all kinds of dopey things that people do and say, I'm having fun. And they're all fucking ridiculous, frankly. compared to absolute torture of injecting a bunch of chemicals into a little kid and making it vomit and do all this shit. No, that isn't worth that. The little fun shit isn't worth injecting the kids with the toxic chemicals and making them vomit. That's just not the same thing. One doesn't buy the other. You know, it's not a bargain, okay? It's a shitty price you're paying for your fun. Ugh. An insanely shitty price. You're being ripped off, you fucking fools, and you shouldn't be stealing my money, so to speak, my destiny, my welfare, to buy the lemon that you're buying. Put me at risk for your fun. Fuck you. Okay. That's worse than a Nazi, frankly.
I would completely 100% agree with you.
Okay, so if it wasn't for a couple of bizarre and strange and almost, you'd have to say, completely retarded notions in his head. Right, that entropy's, the boogeyman called entropy is coming for us. This scary entropy thing. Monster. It's like some sort of Tyrannosaurus, and we have to protect us. It's some kind of coronavirus. The entropy is coming. And we have to throw as many bodies at it as possible to stop the entropy monster from coming. Inject some kids with cancer, because that'll stop the entropy monster from coming. I mean, it's such a ridiculous story that you're almost like, come on. Can't we go back to like Red Riding Hood or something, or Snow White and the dwarfy things? Can't we get somewhere in like a better story than this? God and entropy, we wouldn't have to have the conversation. So it is kind of funny, right? He's just conceding. Yeah, he's conceding that all I have to do is defeat the silly notion of Sky Daddy, or I defeat the silly notion that entropy gives kids cancer, and I win. Oh, okay, yeah, that's easy enough to do. That entropy hurts somebody somewhere. The entropy monster molested your kids. No, it's not entropy that's molesting them. It's one of your neighbors, or it's your brother or something. It's just amazing. Yeah, it's really kind of important. And the fact that you can't get it is irrelevant. Okay, so it's a big, giant, I mean, it really is the elephant in the room kind of argument, is the consent one, because it just proves how glib and insensitive and cruel the defenders are, because they just couldn't care less. It's their belief, they're going to invest in their fucking fantasy, and they just couldn't care less if they're trespassing against people who don't want to play. They're just going to drag them behind the car. They're going to tie a rope around their neck, and they're going to drag them behind their car going to their fun park. And it's so obnoxious and so disgusting and so ugly as a thing. So if the person doesn't consent to play your game, you don't have a right to tie them up and force them. They don't want to have sex with you. They're allowed to say, no, I don't want to have sex with your idiotic ideology. I don't want to play stupid human in your version of it. You got no right to drag me into it. Fact. Everybody wins some shit. And some people win insane amounts of shit. Right, so I mean, I made this lottery example, but this is how evil and glib and disgusting and cruel these people are. They're sitting there on the deck of the boat, or however you want to look at it, and there's a little lineup of children, and they have all these maliciously horrible outcomes as tickets, and they're going to just stick them in the kids' pockets. This is going to be, I have a statistical outcomes, and here I am. I'm going to stick these statistical outcomes in your pockets. They could do that. They could actually go to the hospital and feel good, good about injecting the kid with cancer. Because, well, it's just necessary. Yeah, you have to get cancer because, that's the way it works. That's what I'm invested in. That's the smoke that comes out of my car. So to have my car, the smoke that's going to come out has to be you getting cancer. So tough luck. It's all for the glory of my wonderful life. I mean, again, how is a Nazi worse than that? Ugh, amazing. Arguments about just how out of control the system is that you cannot control any of this. Right. So I did an example with, eating an apple or doing something. I mean, we have no control of our destiny at all, frankly. I mean, it's so little. Deserve has so little to do with anything. I mean, at any moment, a spider can bite you and your arm's amputated. All kinds of shit can happen any old fucking time. All kinds of disaster just waiting to happen. You can't prevent it for yourself, and you certainly can't prevent it happening to your kids. And you're sentencing them to all this jeopardy. For what? Why? Why are you doing it? Why are you using them to perpetuate this experiment? Why? I mean, what's your reasoning except I'm a selfish cunt? What other pile of crap are you going to make up except you're a selfish, evil, malicious, tyrannical, greedy, gluttonous pig? Does put other people at risk. I don't want people high driving cars. Okay, yeah. So yes, that's why whatever we draft people into something or we force them to comply, it's because of some social idea of economy and just a pragmatic reality that we don't want to be Nazis, so we have to stop the Nazis. I mean, and the fact is yeah, you have to do all kinds of trespassing to do it. So you're preventing a bigger harm with a small harm. So that's the only way you can ever justify imposing harm on something. The only time you can justify trespassing against somebody is to prevent a bigger trespass. And those things are logical. But what they're saying is for the minor trespass of you don't get to have your fun delusions about the future, you're going to torture somebody else. That's a reverse. You're preserving the tiny trespass, protecting against the tiny trespass, and you're imposing the monstrosity of a trespass, the huge trespass. I mean, you have the backwards.
Case is that even if it goes well and your good intentions pay off and they get some sort of benefit, and
whatever the benefit would be, like they get extremely lucky and don't have any real hard times in their whole life, just an amazing outcome, just so improbable and so unlikely. Yeah, and that's okay. That one good outcome is worth killing all the children. So again, in all the cases of nature, most of all the children born to nature have to be brutally murdered to improve the genetic code. You must brutally murder the children. That's nature. And you're defending it. For fuck's sake, you're crazy. It's crazy to defend that. Bogeyman of entropy, so he doesn't mind subscribing us all into the draft, and we have to go fight his Vietnam War of the entropy's coming, we have to fight the entropy monster. It really is that ridiculous. That's his narrative. There's some horrible beast called entropy, and it's coming to get us in some horrible way. It's all going to boil us in oil or something. No, we're going to boil us in oil. We're going to boil us on this planet, frankly. You're going to force some generation to be killed by a meteor or do, earthquakes, whatever the thing will be, massive disruption of the environment. You're sentencing all these people to be tortured. You fucking idiots. Sorry, but you're fucking idiots. You're cruel, disgusting, glib, stupid, ignorant idiots. To defend this crap. Okay, you'll argue for it, but if you had to really press the button, if you really had to go out and cut the chicken's head off, or you had to go out... Yeah. So, I mean, it's a really simple argument that, okay, although I'll call you an idiot, and I'll say you're insensitive and you're glib, the fact is you do love your dog, or you do love your cat, and so you can show that you really do understand that I wouldn't let that thing be harmed, that I would do whatever it takes. I might even jump in front of a car to save that organism from having any harm and pain and suffering. And the simple truth is that, oh, you're so profoundly stupid that you can't figure out that your cat isn't a special spiritual organism in the universe, that all the cats need rescuing, all of them need a protector, all of them need somebody to help them through their life. Every single one of them is valuable. It's not about your children, it's about children, period. It's about all of them need good parents, all of them need a birthday party, all of them need to be loved, all of them need all of this shit. For fuck's sake, you're too fucking stupid to realize that? That it's not just about you and your possessions, that it's about everything? All the sentient creatures need to be spared your insensitivity. All of them need it. All of them need you to help them, to care about them. Shit, you have to be everything's fairy godmother, not just your children. I mean, it's just so... you're too stupid to understand that? That the cat's quality is in the fact that it's a cat, and it's a sensitive creature, and it needs comfort. It's not because it's yours. That's not the fucking important thing.
That would
obviously the British had something to do with it, and oh, so yeah, they start talking about World War II, which is just such a dangerous subject. So anyway, we'll skip over that one. Sanctity of life is fuck you.
it is on.
So that was the sanctity of life. He says life is sacred. That's what I believe. Whatever that fucking means. I mean, obviously you don't think your dinner's sacred. So it's not about life. It's about you're saying human beings are sacred. And why? Well, because they're carrying the intellectual blah, blah, blah of the universe. The brain of the universe. We have to preserve the brain so we can, you know, find the universe's anus and fuck it. I mean, what it's just too stupid. There's nothing our brain's doing that's at all interesting, except making up fake little stories about how we're all heroes in some great war. I mean, it's just, it's so mockably silly what you live for. The little narrative running in your head is just a silly Red Riding Hood story. Pathetic. And, you know, unacceptable that they didn't have any right to say certain people are not worth caring. Right, so that's all this is about. Is really, I'm just saying, I don't think you're so bad that if I actually put you there next to the kid in the bed, and you know the kid's just fine, and you're going to inject it with cancer so we can have Bugs Bunny cartoons, or you know, we can have whatever, cars with no muffler on them playing all kinds of, you know, loud music. You know, whatever the wonderful thing that, you know, is happening in the world. And we need to preserve all of that. So let's give some kids some cancer. And you're all for it, and you're just ready to sit there and inject the kid with the cancer. Hi, Jimmy, I'm here. I'm here to give you what you have to accept because I've decided I want to have fun. And I can't have fun if I don't have a loud car, and I can't have fun if, you know. I won't go through all the social blight that exists, but whatever. Just too silly.
Part of that conversation is terraforming, right? And
oh, so then he got onto this nutty notion that we're going to Mars, and then he completely undid his own argument. You know, we have an obligation to, you know, blah, 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 into the universe. But we're never going to do it. But I'd kill people for it. Yeah, I'd kill some people to get there, even though it won't work. Yeah, it's really too ridiculous.
Establishing Earth-like biomes and ecosystems on these
I don't
other
know if
planets.
that's ever going to happen, but...
Oh, yeah, so he suggested that we have an imperative, a responsibility to invade the universe and, you know, spread our whatever crap on it. To take take our toilet to Mars and poo in it. It's just, like I said, it's a ridiculous narrative, just ridiculous. So, hopefully, only one more part. But anyway, I'll try to get to that and get this over with, and then we can move on to just the regular arguments that are just pretty much the same anyway. This might be a better form, actually, because it does, you know, it is, you don't realize just how insane so many people are in what they think and believe, and that, you know, that's the problem I've always described, is it's so hard to make this perfect joke. You know, engineering the perfect truth statement is like writing a perfect joke that everybody's going to laugh. It's really hard to do that. You know, so because they all got some quirky thing, some different totem pole that they're living for, and you have to knock down all the totem poles, but they're all different, so you can't knock them down the same way. You have to knock each one down a different way, and it's just, you know, it's creating that universal, that skeleton key of an idea that's just so difficult. But that's my mission, so I'll keep trying, you know, to file the key and see if I can get it to open all the doors. That's all I can do, is my best, and that's what I'll try to do. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, till the next time, and such and so forth, and whatnot. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say, right? Hello? Is there anything else? I think you covered it, Gary. Okay, then. I guess I covered it. All right. So, till the next time. Such.